Hello, fellow investor. I want to welcome you to this channel. In this video, we look at the earnings expectations for Nexstar Media Group. Nexstar Media is scheduled to report first quarter earnings on Thursday, May 8th, before the market open. We'll cover several topics to see how Nexstar Media is trading going into earnings and help set expectations moving forward. We will review the current price chart and trend charts, along with some key valuation metrics. I'll also share Nexstar Media portfolio holdings and performance. Let's get started. Nexstar Media Group reports earnings on Thursday, May 8th, before the market open. In the previous quarter, Nexstar reported revenue of $1.49 billion, beating revenue estimates by $11.46 million. Nexstar reported earnings of $5.63 per share, missing estimates by $2.39. For this quarter, the revenue estimate is $1.23, with GAAP earnings per share of $3.20 per share. Over the last 90 days, no analyst raised or lowered estimates. Nexstar meets or beats analysts' one-year forward estimates 45% of the time. The options market is pricing an implied move of 7.91%. My Nexstar holding is 1.5% of my equity portfolio. I first entered Nexstar in September of 2023 and have added shares through April 2024. My average cost is 161.54, so my position is underwater a bit at the moment, but dividend payments are keeping the total return positive at 3.1%. 2 quarters ago, Nexstar fell about 12% following the earnings, missing on revenue but beating on EPS. Last quarter, Nexstar gained about 11% following earnings, beating on revenue and missing on EPS. As you can see, Nexstar is fairly volatile. Nexstar can trade plus or minus 20% over short periods of time. Nexstar did rise moving into the earnings. They're currently trading above their 5-day simple moving average, and they are trading below the 50-day and 200-day, and they're trading above the 20-day at the moment. The relative strength has been weak since the beginning of April. It has increased to just above the midline with an RSI of 50.71. We did have a PPO signal line crossover, but we're still trading below the midline. Looking at relative strength compared to the SPX, we can see the momentum is exceeding that of the SPX currently, but the relative strength is underperforming the SPX. Over the last year, the accumulation has pretty much been on a decreasing trend, but I do see some positive accumulation moving into the earnings. We do have positive money flow. And comparing the performance of Nexstar to the SPY, we can see that it's underperformed 11.05%. It's underperformed the communications sector by 19.27%, and they have underperformed their industry group by minus 5.3%. The 5-year weekly trend chart, you can see that Nexstar has performed pretty well during 2020, 2021. Since that point, it's pretty much traded sideways. Currently, Nexstar is trading below its long-term averages. It's trading below its midterm averages and has been trading below its short-term averages with the exception of the last week or two. It has just moved above those moving averages. Let's look at some key valuation metrics from Seeking Alpha for Nexstar compared to the sector. Nexstar is trading at a forward PE of 11.03 times compared to that of the sector of 12.47 times. The expected EPS growth rate over the next year is 40.3% for Nexstar compared to 8.99% for the sector. Nexstar is expected to grow revenue at 3.41% compared to the sector of 2.79% on average. Looking at profitability metrics, Nexstar has a trailing net margin of 13.35% compared to that of the sector of 3.4%. Finally, we'll look at Nexstar in fast graphs. We can see that they're trading at a blended PE of 8.28 times. They have an EPS yield of 12.07%, indicating good value. Good value is typically indicated by a EPS yield above 6.5. They do pay a dividend with a yield of 4.77%. Over the time frame shown, Nexstar has had an average of 18.74% growth in their adjusted operating earnings. FastGraphs calculates their fair value ratio at 18.78 times, and the market normally applies a PE ratio of about 15.91 times. We look at the earnings. They had really good earnings growth in 2024 at 122%. They're expected to decline in 2025 by 35% down to $13.96 of earnings per share. 2026, they're expected to grow those earnings by 84%. And in 2027, analysts are expecting a 27% decline. In the past, Nexstar has traded above their fair value. In 2018, they traded below that fair value. And then in 2019, they got back to their fair value. And then after the pandemic, they traded down to their blended PE, where they pretty much traded for the most part until 2023, where they got near their fair value. And currently they're trading near their blended PE. If we look at the forecast through 2026, if they do continue to trade at this blended PE, we could expect a total annualized return of 28.15%. I hope you found this earnings preview helpful. If so, please subscribe to the channel for future videos and consider giving a like to help support the channel. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you the best in your investment journey, and remember to trade well.